Mark, 5 minutes until airtime here on the Appalachian Sports Network until our Coaches Show broadcast. Your next time cue will be with 4 minutes until airtime. Mark, 4 minutes until airtime here on the Appalachian Sports Network until our Coaches Show broadcast. Your next time cue will be with 3 minutes until airtime. Mark, 3 minutes until airtime on the Appalachian Sports Network until our Coaches Show broadcast. Your next time cue comes with 2 minutes until airtime. Mark, 2 minutes until airtime here on the Appalachian Sports Network until our Coaches Show broadcast. Your next time cue will be with 1 minute until airtime. Mark, network stations, we are 1 minute until airtime on the Appalachian Sports Network until our Coaches Show broadcast. Studios, please start your archive recording. Stations, if you encounter any technical issues during today's broadcast, please call the Appalachian State Studio Hotline at area code 336-831-0827. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime. Mark, 30 seconds until airtime. Once again, stations, if you encounter any issues during the broadcast, please call the App State Studio Hotline at 336-831-0827. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Appalachian Sports Network.
Live from the River Street Ale House, welcome to Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge on the Appalachian Sports Network from Learfield. Coming up, 60 minutes of Mountaineer football conversation and your chance to hear from head coach Shawn Clark. Mountaineer Talk is brought to you by the Allen Tate Companies. Hey Mountaineers, Allen Tate Realtors is the official realtor of App State Athletics and the #1 real estate company in the Carolinas. Call Allen Tate today for all your real estate needs. Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi and some friends and get in the game. Pepsi, the official soft drink of your App State Mountaineers. And by UNC Health Blue Ridge, moving healthcare forward. Now, to get things underway, here's the voice of the Mountaineers, Adam Witten.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Mountaineer Talk here on the Appalachian Sports Network. Great crowd on hand, as always. We're excited to be back with you for another Tuesday night here at River Street Ale House. It is Mountaineer Talk presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. We'll be visiting with head coach Shawn Clark in just a moment. Also, it is defensive line night. We will have defensive line coach Eric McDaniel joining us in a little bit, and our player guest will be defensive end Shawn Collins. That should be a lot of fun. Shawn's always a great guest when we get a chance to visit with him in a variety of ways. As a reminder, if you want to be a part of the show tonight, you can do so in the following ways. You can use the hashtag Mountaineer Talk on Twitter. You can email us mountaineertalk@gmail.com. You can text us 828-295-2063. Those of you watching on our live video stream on Facebook, you can leave your question in the comments section. We will devote, as always, the second segment of our show to questions for head coach Shawn Clark. All right, no game this week. It is a bye week. We'll be back home next Saturday against JMU. The kick time was announced for that yesterday. It's going to be a 2:30 kickoff for homecoming, for senior day. A lot of cool stuff happening around the JMU game next Saturday. We'll touch on that a little bit, but we'll be back here next week to talk more in depth about the Dukes. Coach, how are you?
Doing great, Adam. Appreciate having me on again tonight. So a little bye week. We had a practice this afternoon, and then one more practice tomorrow, and then we'll be out recruiting the rest of the week.
Yeah, you know, we never really had the true bye week ever since you took over as head coach, and now we got 2 of them this year. Do you know what to do with the extra time right now?
Well, there's plenty of work to be done. So, Again, this is came at a great time. Guys get a chance to get back healthy again this week, and then gives us a chance also to kind of reflect on what we do good, what we do bad, and then really hit the road recruiting. Recruiting is different now because they cut our days from 56 days down to 30, so we have to be very selective where we go. And tomorrow night after practice, our coaches will go on the road to be in place on Thursday and Friday to go recruit, and then back at it Sunday for JMU.
So we'll talk about the team and what they're working on right now, but we are going to talk a little bit about recruiting because there's no opponent coming up on Saturday, and like Coach Clark mentioned, they will get some time to go out and hit the road recruiting. We'll spend a little bit of time talking about recruiting. So if you have recruiting-specific questions that you want to ask Coach Clark, you can fire away with those. All right, but in terms of what you're working on, I know that when we talked to you in the previous bye week that there's a lot of self-scouting that goes on. So how does that work? What are you looking at specifically right now?
Well, we came back in on Sunday and met as a staff and, kind of put that game to rest and to move on. So we went back and, defensive-wise, what are we doing good? Work we improve on. Offense, what plays are working? What plays can we, in different situations, different field zones, what have we done very well? And then we kind of implement for these next 2 weeks. I mean, this is a 2-game stretch that is very important to us, and to make sure we play the best we can for these last 2 weeks.
So when you put the Coastal Carolina game to bed, what were the things that you really tried to take away from that one in terms of, all right, here's what we need to address from an improvement standpoint, and here are the things that we're still doing well?
Well, you talk about complementary football all the time, and then you open the game up and our coach goes down the field and drives, scores a touchdown, and we had a really good plan both sides of the ball. We could take the ball down, offense goes all the way to the 4-yard line, and we had this play lined up, and the end had always been squeezing. He didn't squeeze, and hits Joey and turns into a fumble. He scored a touchdown, and we go down, we throw a pick, and then it goes to a field goal. So you're down 17-0 early. Then our defense got to stop, went 3 and out. We got to score a touchdown, and then another 3 and out and a field goal, and then we had the ball and had a chance. So we were driving the football down the field to tie it up at halftime, and we turned it over on downs. So we got the ball back the second half, and we went back and we kind of scripted our first 10 plays for each each half, first half and the second half, and we go 3 and out, and they go on 87-yard touchdown, and I'm proud of our kids. They fought to the very end. I thought when we scored the last touchdown, we had a chance with the onside kick, and we had a plan that we're going to go down and kick a field goal right away, and so that's a 7-point game, and then onside again, and go down and score a touchdown to tie it up and go for a win. So again, our kids play hard, but we have to keep on playing complementary football. We can't turn the football over. It's almost like you talk about it so much, and it's all we talk about. We do drills on it. Maybe I won't talk about it anymore. Just say, let's fun with the ball some. But no, that's something we talk about all the time. Take care of the football, stopping the run, and we have to get better at that. We understand that, but our kids have been working their tails off in practice, and I know they're eager to get back there a week from Saturday.
Did you look at that one in a similar way that you did with Louisiana, where you say we played well enough to win the game, but the turnovers were just too much to overcome? It
is. I mean, you can't turn the football over in college football. You can't do that. You have to win the turnover battle and win the rushing yards. And I thought we ran the ball well on offense. If you take the sacks away, we ran for over 200 yards. Monty ran the ball hard. Joey ran the ball well. That was part of the game plan to get involved in the running game. And but again, it comes down to you have to stop the run on defense and turn the ball. And you can't turn the ball over on offense. If you do those two things, you're going to get beat. Mm-hmm. So again, we have to improve on that, and we're going to. I mean, it's not fun. Losing sucks, and we understand, especially here at App State, and we have to get that corrected.
Yep. So you mentioned immediately after the game, and you talked about it in your press conference yesterday, and you've already touched on it at the beginning of this show. You still have things to play for. You've got postseason in front of you. You got to win these last 2 games to do it, but how would you describe the spirits, the mood of the team right now, knowing that a conference championship might be out of the picture, and you didn't like the way you played against Coastal Carolina, but there's still things on the horizon that are attractive?
Yeah, we have a lot to play for. We got a lot of pride in this program. Our players got a lot of pride, and we have to go out there and perform, and that's something we have to do. And our goal, one of our goals is going to make it to a bowl game, and it starts with James Madison, a tough opponent. But the one thing we can't let this loss turn into another loss. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing we do good here is we kind of flush the loss, and what we did good, what we do bad, and get those things corrected. But again, our kids had a great spirit of practice today, and they're eager to get out there and improve. And this week has really helped trying to get our guys back healthy. And we're not making excuses about that, but that's reality. We have some guys that are banged up out for the season, and it's another opportunity for another guy to step up. And that's why I'm excited watching these young guys that haven't played much step up and play. And you look at Max Drag and Kenyon Hamlet with Larkins and Eli Wilson now. Those 2 kids have played very well.
They have.
And so now it's the next man up mentality. Go out there and do your job and give us a chance to win the football game.
All right, we're just getting started with head coach Shawn Clark. If you want to ask a question, you've got the next segment to do so on Twitter. Email is mountaineertalk@gmail.com. The text line 828-295-2063. His comments tonight brought to you by Blue Ridge Energy, powering a brighter future. And hey, Mountaineers, Alan Tate is the official realtor of App State Athletics and the #1 real estate company in the Carolinas. Call Alan Tate today for all your real estate needs. More to come from River Street Ale House as we continue on with Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge, right after these messages.
We're here to power your life with the resources your family needs, offering savings, quick response times, and a reliability rating of over 99%. At Blue Ridge Energy, we've got the game plan to keep you and your loved ones energized.
Reaches the ball out, and he's in!
More coverage of Mountaineer football after these local messages. This is the Appalachian Sports Network from Learfield.
What does it mean to be first for teaching? First, we listen. First, we engage. First, we recognize potential. You have what it takes: the drive, the smarts, and the heart to be the kind of educator who changes and inspires lives. 2 million kids are waiting for you, but first, your journey starts right here. Be first. Be an App State teacher. Learn more at firstteach.appstate.edu.
For over 60 years, Daniel Boone Inn has been serving Boone and the High Country delicious family-style meals that take you back to your grandma's table. Whether it's our family-style dinner with our signature fried chicken and country ham biscuits served with traditional Southern vegetables, or our classic Southern breakfast with such favorites as scrambled eggs, local country ham, biscuits and gravy, pancakes, and more, you're sure to feel right at home at the Daniel Boone Inn. So be sure to stop by in pregame, postgame, or let us prepare your next tailgate at The Rock.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. Now back to River Street Ale House and the voice of the Mountaineers, Adam Witten.
All right, welcome back to the show. We are with you until 8 o'clock. Great to have a very large and spirited crowd tonight. This is one of our more spirited crowds of the year. This is great to see you. All right, thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you again to River Street Ale House for hosting us all season long. Coach Clark is back with us. His comments tonight brought to you by Blue Ridge Energy, powering a brighter future. Bye week this week. Our next game will be next Saturday, November 23rd, App State and James Madison. 2:30 will be the kickoff at Kidd Brewer Stadium. All right, we got some audience questions here from Coach Clark. First one is in our email inbox, mountaineertalk@gmail.com. This is from Lee, and he wants to know about what makes this team. He used the phrase Jekyll and Hyde team, but talking about some inconsistencies. You play 2 good games, and then you have one that you didn't really like the way you performed against Coastal Carolina. What would you kind of chalk that up to throughout the year?
Well, you're exactly right. Sometimes we look really, really good, and other times we don't. And we have to be more consistent. But, it's like a broken record. You can't turn the football over, and that's what we have to get corrected. But our kids go out there and fight. They haven't given up one bit, even though they've been down by many points at sometimes in the game. They keep fighting to the very end. Even you go back to the Clemson game, we're down a lot, and those kids kept fighting and kept trying to score and make plays. So, man, I like our football team. I think we have still a good football team. We have to be more consistent and again, play more complementary football. It's a game of momentum swings, and we have to be, if the offense isn't doing well, the defense got to be able to play well, and vice versa. I mean, you have to win 2 of the 3 phases, and that's what we got to get squared away, and we will this week.
A couple texters at 828-295-2063 have asked about specific guys related to injuries, but you addressed this in your press conference yesterday, the overall health of the team. For those that may have missed that, though, what information can you provide there?
Well, yesterday I announced that Caden Robbins will be out for the year. He had surgery this morning, and he's back in Nashville. That's tough. Caden's always came to practice with a smile. He was our hardest worker. He never had a bad day. He was so consistent in everything he did, and he loved playing at App State, and that's going to be a tough blow, but again, it gives other kids opportunities. So, that's where I'm looking to get today in practice. We have more people playing the slot and different formations, different personnel groupings to put our best level on the field at once.
Yeah, what can you tell us at this point about who might try to fill that spot in most of those snaps at that slot position?
Well, Mike Hessel will be in there. He'll start off, and then a couple other kids. We can't give all of our secrets away right now, but we'll be able to move some guys around, and different plays. We'll put different people in different spots, and we have to be intentional how we do that, because again, we have to make sure we get the ball to the playmakers.
Yep. Jesse asks a question: are there certain position groups that you're focusing on for recruiting this year?
Well, it's never ending. I talk about roster management. We do this a couple times a week. Talk about our roster. Kids that are going to graduate, and this hopefully by this time next year we're out of the COVID babies, so we will get the 6th year. If you know what I mean. So we have to make sure we get that out of here. But some kids might want to come back for their 6th year. Some somebody might want to move on. And then the transfer portal opens up December the 9th. That opens a whole new can of worms. But we're actively recruiting high school kids, and then we're feeling we have to get, if an upperclassman leaves, we'll go in the portal and get an upperclassman that's played before, because you can't just keep, if you lose a junior or a senior, you can't go back and get freshmen, or else you'll be so young on the front end. So, but again, it's ever changing, and it's going to change again in December and then again in May. So there's 2 windows still, and we'll be aggressively going out and getting those if someone leaves.
So can you tell us a little bit about the staff and the structural makeup when it comes to recruiting on a college football staff in 2024? Not too long ago, you would have an assistant coach on the team that was also a recruiting coordinator. Now you have more of the general manager, the player personnel focus on a team. How does that work within App State's football office?
Yeah, we have a lot of people in recruiting right now. Thomas Gary leads that office, director of player personnel, and he has 2 assistants, and they're their overall roster management part of it. Myself and Mark Spear, we all meet together, go over roster management. Still, our coaches have areas. I still think it's important to have areas, because you have to have relationships with these kids and with the coaches. I've been in spots where you position recruit. I didn't like that, because you had no relationship with the coaches.
Yeah.
So again, Thomas will identify kids in their area, and then it goes to a checklist from the recruiting coordinator to the position coach to the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. That comes to me as the head coach, and I make the final call on it. So, but again, it's every day, every Monday for 2 hours. First thing in the morning, we're watching tape, and then Monday evenings are my time to call the recruits. Myself and Thomas sit down, and we'll call in from 25 to 30 recruits from about 6 o'clock to 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then the coaches call on the back end. So again, you have to have a relationship with these players right now, because again, it's happening so fast, and especially in the transfer portal or even in the high school. If you lose a kid, you try to get another high school kid, it's tough because you have a relationship with them. So I think that's one thing we do a very good job, is having a relationship with the coaches and the players, and we get our kind of kids.
But having those positions within a staff helps so much, because that information, you've got people dedicated to that, allows you to spend more time coaching, right?
It expedites the process.
Yeah.
Because again, it used to be back when I first got to App and I first started coaching, that you go out in the spring and you go to every single high school, and then you go watch them practice in the spring and have your list. And recruiting wasn't that sped up, so you could take your time in some ways. And really, you start bringing your players in on official visits in December and January. And the signing day was in February. Now it's sped up. It's 6 months ahead of where it used to be. So our official visits are in the summertime now. And so now it's always it's fast. But you have to be very detailed how you do things. I think Thomas does a great job of I don't have to spend as much time. What's your mom and dad's name? Who are your sisters? What's your GPA? Thomas gets all that stuff sent to him, so we have a document, and then that helps also get them into school, because again, it takes time to get. You have to apply to school. You have to get accepted to school. Then you got to find out where they're going to live. So the process is just so much faster right now, and thank goodness we have that position, because it takes some work off our coach's plate.
Yeah, good question, Jesse, and kind of opens the door for us to have again this recruiting conversation, which we can focus on a little bit more this week, because there's no game on Saturday. So we'll touch a little bit on JMU in our next segment, but we might also talk a little bit more recruiting as well. We got one more segment with Coach Shawn Clark, then we'll have defensive line coach Eric McDaniel and defensive end Sean Collins still to join us a little bit later on in the show. Before we break, I want to tell you about our friends at Mountaineer Mania. As you know, they are App State football alumni owned and operated. Preston Powell, he's class of 2001. They're Boone's longest running team store. 43 years they've been going at it and doing a fantastic job, and they look as good as new, almost brand new if you were to walk in the store right now. They've got a hat bar with the largest selection of App State headwear under one roof and the largest selection of App State Nike products in town. That, of course, Mountaineer Mania right there on King Street. We'll continue with more Mountaineer Talk from River Street Ale House, our show presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge, and we're back after these messages.
It's Appalachian State football season, when I becomes we, and we live every day for Saturdays. Well, and a couple of Thursdays. It's when The Rock is the loudest place on planet Earth, and every fan in the high country reaches for delicious Pepsi all season long. Pepsi picks us up so we can tailgate longer and cheer louder. It refreshes so we can always be a winning, a grinning, and a feeling fine. So grab a Pepsi and roll Nears, proud sponsor of App State football.
On game day, there's nothing like tailgating, touchdowns, and Twisted Tea hard iced tea. Twisted Tea goes down smooth and tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real brewed tea. Cool, refreshing, and a 5% kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea hard iced tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer. Keep it twisted. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
It is great to be a Mountaineer.
The home of the Mountaineers. This is the Appalachian Sports Network from Learfield.
Mountaineer football is back, which means it's time to fire up those grills and tailgate. The grilling experts at Appalachian Energy and G&B Energy would like to remind you of a few helpful tips when heading out to your cookout this season. Remember that it's okay to bring your own sauces. Always expect the grill master to provide meat, but bring your own sides and beverages. And last but not least, do not touch the grill. For more grilling tips and to learn more about Appalachian Energy and G&B Energy Tailgater of the Year contest, visit us at gbenergy.com.
Hey y'all, this is Michael Felder, co-host of College Sports Now. We're breaking down all the action from around the country every week during the football season. We'll look beyond the box score and keep our finger on the pulse of college football from September all the way through the national championship game in January. Listen all season long on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you love to get your favorite podcast. And be sure to follow along on Twitter at CSNowTweets.
You're tuned in to Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. Now, time to hear more from head coach Shawn Clark and your host, Adam Witten.
Welcome back to the show. It is Mountaineer Talk from River Street Ale House. Great crowd on hand. Thank you all for being here as we continue on with head coach Shawn Clark. His comments brought to you by Blue Ridge Energy, powering a brighter future. All right. Well, it is a little past dinner time. I don't know. What's dinner time for you? In season, out of season, 7 o'clock, later? Depends on
depends on where you are and what part of the country you're in. So.
Well, I know there's a lot of people out there that are hungry, and they're all being well fed here at Ale House. But I enjoy when it's around that meal time on a Tuesday night. We get to talk about the official beef of App State football. That, of course, is Goddard Family Farms, featuring a premium farm-to-table product sustainably grown in the heart of the mountains, shipped directly to your door. You and your tailgate can now have the beef that fuels the black and gold on game day. Visit GoddardFamilyFarms.com for all the details on how to hashtag Eat Like a Mountaineer. So let's say hypothetically, you are getting a shipment from Goddard Family Farms of 25 ribeye steaks. How long would that last in the Clark household?
Probably about a month. You know, my daughter, she's a steaky like myself, and but again, it's, we don't eat salads in the house. It's all about the meat. And Derek does a great job. And I will say this, Derek, he does a lot for our program. I always say that, for our first meal coming back from fall camp, he donates about 140 ribeyes for our team. Our players are very excited to get that every year. So, again, great steaks and just good people, and we appreciate what you do for our program.
Yeah. Thank you to Derek, the whole family, Goddard Family Farms, for what they do for App State football. Okay. We'll talk more in depth about JMU when we do our show next week. Just a quick reminder, next week's show is on Monday night. Monday night next week, because we've got home basketball next Tuesday here in Boone. So we'll talk about the Dukes in that show. But what's some maybe an early appetizer on this JMU team that we're going to bring in here to Boone next Saturday?
No, they're a good football team. You look around, they've had some great wins. They went out and beat North Carolina, and I'm not sure they stopped scoring on North Carolina. It was, 77 to something there, but they have a good football team. Coach does a great job there. They had a lot of turnover on their team. He did a really good job in the transfer portal, get some great players in there. So we watched a little bit of tape Sunday, and then Monday we did a little self-study. Then we were into it this afternoon. and trying to get our base game plan. Well, I told our coaches, man, I want this to be a simple game plan so our kids can play fast, and you have some more time. And a lot of times in these bye weeks, you get the base game plan, and you look like, well, we could do this or we can do that and we can do this. Well, let's just get our base stuff in. Let's get really good at what we do. Let's execute at a high level, and give our chance to kids go out there and compete for a win.
Sometimes you overthink it. If you have too much time, you think, well, we got time to put in all this new and interesting stuff, and maybe you go a little overboard sometimes.
Yeah, that's the worst thing for a football coach, to have extra time, because you're like, well, we can run this play in this situation. And let's just do what we do, and let's get good at what we do. Because again, if we play well and we cut the mistakes, and we have a chance to win every football game we play. So that was part of the marching orders to our coaches. Hey, listen, let's make this simple. Let our kids go out and play fast and have fun. It's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be senior day. It's going to be homecoming. We're going to say goodbye to a lot of great App State players, and for our last home game of the season, it's been an awesome experience this year. Our fans, and they have turned out. Again, we're leading the country again in attendance, and that's a big selling point in recruiting.
Yeah, App State is number one in the Sun Belt, again, in attendance for home games, and by a good margin, by about 10,000 fans per game, ahead of second place in the conference. So,
and we don't inflate our numbers either.
No.
We've been to some places there's 15,000 people in the stands, and they're all dressed up as empty seats.
They are legit.
legit.
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations. So we have the best fan base in college football, and I say it all the time, especially in the Sun Belt, that our fans are passionate. They want to win, and they're going to tell you when you do good. They're going to tell you when you do bad.
Yep.
And that's how you want it. You want those expectations.
They're invested. You want your fans invested. You do, and our fans are. And we know, look, they're going to be loud when we're doing well, and they're going to be loud when we're not doing well. But that's what happens with good college football programs and a great fan base. They're invested. They care.
That's right.
That's what you want.
That's right. Even my neighbor, when we win, he says hello to me. When we don't win, he walks back inside the house.
Oh, come on, man.
But he's a great guy. But again, we have some passionate fans, and we love it. That's what you want. I've been to places where football wasn't important, and you want to be at a place where football is important, and it's important here on the mountain.
All right, before we let you go, we're going to visit with Eric McDaniel. He's a new full-time coach on staff, but he was with the program as a GA for a couple of years. And I learned right before we started the show that you've got quite the background with him. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we did. I've known Eric for a long time, and I think it was 2009 the first time I met him. He was a defensive lineman at Purdue when I was there, and we brought him over to the offensive line. So, I had a chance to coach Eric when I was a position coach, and we'll keep some of those stories between myself and Eric. But he's just a great human being, and he's turned into a great football coach. But I'm even more proud of what kind of husband he's turned into, what kind of dad he's turned. He's got a new baby girl. She's beautiful. I mean, you see her, she'll make you melt. So just the way he's grown, and I always knew he was going to be successful in life. And he's been turned into a really good football coach, but more importantly, a great human being.
Yeah, we love having him here. Excited to get to know him a little bit more here in our next segment. Appreciate the time, man. Good to see you.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, that's head coach Shawn Clark joining us on the program. We'll return to River Street Ale House with Coach Eric McDaniel. Our show presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. We're back after these messages.
When you think of winning plays, what comes to mind? An unforgettable day in Ann Arbor, Michigan, when a blocked kick made 107,000 fall silent, or a tipped Hail Mary turned into a touchdown. These moments are woven into the storied history of App State football. And just like those plays, Blue Ridge Energy knows a thing or two about making winning moves. We're here to power your life with the resources your family needs, offering savings, quick response times, and a reliability rating of over 99%. At Blue Ridge Energy, we've got the game plan to keep you and your loved ones energized.
James River Equipment is your full-service John Deere dealer dedicated to a full line of residential, commercial, agriculture, construction, and forestry products in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. With local locations in Wilkesboro, Newton, Statesville, and throughout the Carolinas and Virginia, James River Equipment is right around the corner and there for you. For more information, visit jamesriverequipment.com today.
Reaches the ball out, and he's in!
More coverage of Mountaineer football after these local messages. This is the Appalachian Sports Network from Learfield.
You, nature lover. Ever heard of us? We're Boone, North Carolina. High up in the Blue Ridge Mountains, with vistas that go on forever. Adventure that never stops and challenges you've yet to try. We've got every outdoor pursuit you can imagine and cozy lodging. Explore Boone.
Hey Mountaineer fans, did you know UNC Health Caldwell proudly serves the High Country by providing services like women's health, primary and urgent care, cancer care, spine care, urology, and more? When you or a loved one receives care at UNC Health Caldwell, count on compassionate patient-centered care from a skilled team of healthcare providers. For more information on healthcare services from Blowing Rock to Hickory, visit www.caldwellmemorial.org.
Back to the show. It is Mountaineer Talk on a Tuesday night here on the Appalachian Sports Network. We are live at River Street Ale House, our show presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. And while we know you're enjoying your time here at River Street Ale House, make sure you also check out Town Tavern Blowing Rock for a great dining experience. They're open for lunch, dinner, and later have 19 flat screen TVs to catch the games. They also boast the largest outdoor dining area in the High Country. Make sure you stop by Town Tavern Blowing Rock on your next trip to the High Country. Our thanks to Shawn Clark for joining us earlier in the show. Now, please give it up for our next guest, our defensive line coach, Eric McDaniel. Let's hear it for him. How you doing, man?
Good, man. I'm glad to be here.
Great to have you on the show. So, what's it like being back here now as a full-time coach? You were here for, 2 years as a GA, 16 and 17.
Yep.
Now you're here as a full-time coach. What's the experience been like so far?
Man, it's awesome. I love this place ever since I first stepped foot on campus back in 2016, and it's kind of a full circle deal, having the old cars that say GA or QC on it, and then coming back as a D-line coach. I knew what this place offered, and I love being here.
Yeah. So you were at Troy before this. You come here. How tough was I can't imagine the pitch was very difficult to get you to come back here. Take us as much as you can into the process of, hey, we're looking for a D-line coach. We're interested in bringing you here. How did that go?
Easy. When Coach Clark had a spot for me, I was ready to jump all over. I knew what he stands for and is about as a man and as a coach. And then obviously, like I said, I know what this program brings, and I think that this place has steep tradition, and obviously being here. And so I was ready to get back. Had a good time somewhere else, but it was time to get back here and see what we could do.
So you said it was full circle coming back here, and you still had the business cards from when you were at GA. Right. But I asked Coach Clark right before he left the set about your background in being at Purdue. So he was assistant coach at Purdue. Yep. You were playing there on the defensive line. How did you guys build that relationship, and how strong did that become over the years?
Well, it's going against them every day. As a defensive lineman, when I first got there, I tell people all the time, Coach Clark's known me since I was 17 years old. Yeah. And it's been a long time. And I think going against them every day, then also along the way, junior year, I got moved to guard because we were low there, and then got moved to guard, so I actually got to play for him.
Okay,
which was awesome, and that was a young Coach Clark now. And so he got after it. It was a good time.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you is, he's scared of this question, I think. He's back there looking up here. What was Coach Clark like back then when he was coaching against you as a 17, 18-year-old kid to what he's like now as the head coach? What are the main differences?
I think he's a little older and calmed down just a little bit, just a tad. But, it's funny because he's still an O-line coach at heart. Yeah. So at practice sometimes, he gets after it. And to see the old him come out. But at the end of the day, I think he was just younger. Back then, I think he was 30 or something. And so he had the tenacity and all that.
Yeah, but he's calmed down a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. I think the baby, because when his babies were babies back then when I was around. So I remember Bryson's son and his daughter, they were tiny.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now, and he said you've got a tiny one now.
Yeah, 7-month-old.
7 months old. Yeah. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you.
Are you sleeping?
A little bit.
Is she sleeping? How is that balancing being a dad, being a college football coach? It's a very demanding job. Yeah. How has that balance been for you so far?
Oh, it's been good. It's what I signed up for. That's what I tell my wife. I said, well, she has to go do something. I got to take care of the baby and be there. That's what I signed up for, and I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah. How does being a coach and being somebody that molds young men or young boys into men, however you want to describe it in terms of developing football players to be great people on and off the field, how did that background for you transition into being a dad?
Well, that's what I really do it for. I think obviously wins and losses and seeing guys develop and going to the next level and all those things, but at the end of the day is, can I make these guys better holistically as men than when I found them? And I take a lot of pride in that, and along with schemes and X's and O's, I like to talk to these guys about just how they carry themselves amongst society.
Yeah.
And I think if I can reach some guys and really touch them and change how they think and go about life for the better, and then that's a win for me. And so in fatherhood, I pull from various interactions from different coaches, also my dad and all those things, and just try to be the best dad I can.
How would you describe the vibes of the defensive line room when you're in meetings or getting together as a group? How would you describe the vibes of that group?
I think they're a fun bunch. They're close knit, together, and we also, we know when to turn it on, when to turn it off, and get after it. And so I think there's a fine balance always on any team, on any good group, good cohesive unit, that you got to know when to turn it on, turn it off, and they're just a fun group to be around.
All right, we're visiting with Coach Eric McDaniel on the defensive line. Still to come, we'll talk to our player guest, Shawn Collins, in just a little bit. We've got one more segment with Coach, so if you've got questions, go ahead and fire away. We'll get to some of those in our next segment. You're listening to Mountaineer Talk here from River Street Ale House, our show presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge, and we will return after these messages.
Covering App State University takes the strongest wireless service in the area. With Carolina West Wireless, Mountaineers get the most reliable coverage on campus and across the country with our award-winning high-speed nationwide network. We offer the latest devices and technology at a great value with an exceptional local customer service experience that you deserve. Try us risk-free for 30 days. Carolina West Wireless is proud to be the official wireless provider of the Mountaineers.
It's Appalachian State football season when I becomes we, and we live every day for Saturdays. Well, and a couple of Thursdays. It's when the Rock is the loudest place on planet Earth, and every fan in the high country reaches for delicious Pepsi all season long. Pepsi picks us up so we can tailgate longer and cheer louder. It refreshes so we can always be a winning, a grinning, and a feeling fine. So grab a Pepsi and roll Nears, proud sponsor of App State football.
It is great to be a Mountaineer.
The home of the Mountaineers. This is the Appalachian Sports Network from Learfield.
Do you know where to find tasty country gourmet foods, sauces, and fixins that are perfect for your tailgate meal? Are you looking for outerwear to stay warm and dry at the game? Do you need to find a thoughtful gift for a good friend? Well, get Yosef to the Mass General Store before the game, after the game, the next time you're in town, or anytime online. Mass Store's friendly staff looks forward to seeing you in person or at massstore.com soon. The Mass Store has been a destination for Mountaineers since 1883.
It's never lost on Window World that your home is your largest physical investment. Window World's integrity will be noticed from your very first contact. The clean, professional installation of premium windows, siding, doors, and more are designed to last while leaving your home looking amazing. Window World and their lifetime warranty will always be there when it really matters. They are America's most trusted remodeler and the official exterior remodeler of App State Athletics, because the difference is integrity and always in the details.
All right, welcome back to the show. It is Mountaineer Talk here from River Street Ale House. Our show presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. No game Saturday. It's a bye week for the Mountaineers. They'll take on JMU next Saturday at 2:30 p.m. We're visiting with defensive line coach Eric McDaniel. And hey, Mountaineers, make sure to check out App State's online MBA, which allows you to earn our nationally recognized MBA from wherever you are. Check it out online at mba.appstate.edu. All right, so we spent a little bit of time in our earlier in the show talking to Shawn Clark about some of the recruiting things that you guys will get a chance to do this week. You'll get some time away from the practice field. You'll get out recruiting. What are your responsibilities right now related to recruiting later this week?
Well, for me, I'm going out trying to find the next guys up, and that's the big thing. And it's a fine balance these days in what that means in terms of high school or JUCO guys and stuff like that. But trying to find next guys up that can help us win now.
Are you primarily looking at defensive linemen or other? So primarily
defensive line, and I enjoy that.
Okay, what are the traits? What are the skills that you look for in a defensive lineman that works best with what you coach?
Well, for me, I got to have a guy that's capable with his hands, is powerful with his hands, explosive, and then also got a good first step twitch. And then what we're trying to develop also is continue to get that size component too, and that's a huge piece to me in terms of what we want. You got guys like Shawn, who you're going to talk to here soon, who's got the size and all that thing, and continue to build on that. But big thing is continuing to get guys that can change the line of scrimmage and that can knock things back. You'll see a guy like Josh Donald on Saturdays, number 91. He can change the line of scrimmage, and those are the type of guys that I'm looking for.
Yeah. So, somebody like me who's more of a novice when it comes to football, you look at a defensive lineman and you think, oh, you got to be big, you got to be muscular, you got to be able to push your weight around. But the first thing you mentioned was hands. How important and underrated is a defensive lineman's hands?
Right. It's huge because a lot of high school kids have to learn that step. But as you go, you realize that's your main key to keep you alive within blocks, getting off of blocks, right? And then also, again, changing the line of scrimmage, being able to be block disruptors rather than block takers, and keeping your head out of the game, right? Because I want these kids to be healthy, keep their head, keep their shoulders out, use them hands, keep them at bay.
How do you coach or work with the outside linebacker dog position? Because technically it's an outside linebacker, but it's on the end of the line, more of a stand-up pass rusher. Do you work much with that position?
Yeah. Me and Coach Howard work close in hand together, and I'll get the dogs when it comes to pass rush and things like that. I've done that before, and so we just kind of play off each other on when we want to get together. And in my experience as a lineman and teaching rushing, and then his experience as a dropper, I think makes a good mix.
How do you determine, is it a size thing, or is there something else to determine, all right, this person would make a good position at defensive end, or this person would be good at the dog position, or this person would be good at the nose position? Let's focus maybe on just defensive end and the nose position. How do you determine what makes somebody good at each one of those spots?
Well, length has a huge factor, and how much weight can they gain. For me, I love a good 300-pounder. That's why you see a guy like Josh out there.
Yeah.
And I think because those guys make a difference, they're hard to move. When it comes to noses, when it comes to ends, I think you got to have length, and you got to be able to keep guys at bay, and you also have to create value in the pass rush off the edge. And guys like Shawn and Mike and some of those guys you see, that's what you're looking for stereotypically as a defensive end.
All right, so now between defensive end and that dog position, what makes somebody to say, hey, this person fits more as defensive end, this person fits more at that pass rushing position?
Really, the breakoff comes to how they're built. How is a guy around 235, 240. Also, his drop ability, because that's the difference in the dog position here. They got to cover some guys too. So there ain't many times we want Big Mike and Shawn covering anybody. You know what I mean? So they don't want to hear that.
Shawn thinks he can cover.
but that's kind of where the breakoff is. Okay, what's his skill set in terms of ability and coverage as well?
Yeah, and then they got to be good at balancing it with the run game as well. What does it take for a defensive lineman to be good in the run game?
You got to be physical. You got to be physical at the point of attack, and again, changing the line of scrimmage, because if we can get the offensive line on different levels, that's what you want, especially in the day and age of tight ends and double teams and center guard double teams, all those types of things. You have to be aggressive. You have to be able to use your hands, and then have to be able to hold the point. So when those double teams come, you can't get moved.
All right. We learned a lot. That was very informative. I appreciate that. All right, we're going to let you go on that so you can get back to work and then hopefully home soon to your wife and baby girl.
Yes, thank you.
Coach McDaniel, Eric McDaniel joining us on the show tonight. We'll take a break. We'll visit with our player guest, Shawn Collins, in just a moment. We're live at River Street Ale House. And come on back for more Mountaineer Talk presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge right after this.
Mountaineer fans love driving Subarus from Modern Subaru of Boone. And when you buy with Go Modern, you can choose your vehicle, value your trade, pick your payments, apply for credit, even complete your entire purchase online. Or just do the parts you want and pick up where you left off at the dealership. Go Modern puts you in control so you can buy where you want, when you want, and how you want. Get started at modernsubaruofboone.com. Proud supporter of App State Athletics.
From the training room to the sideline to the goal line, App Ortho has you covered. Performing advanced hip, knee, shoulder, and back surgery in Boone, App Ortho offers same-day appointments and telehealth visits. App Ortho is also the official sports medicine and orthopedic provider for App State Athletics. Call 828-386-2663 to schedule your appointment or visit apprhs.org.
Reaches the ball out, and he's in!
More coverage of Mountaineer football after these local messages. This is the Appalachian Sports Network from Learfield.
App State's top-ranked online MBA is designed for you. It's a flexible, accredited, part-time program that works with your busy schedule and allows you to earn your MBA in 2 years. Learn online from the same faculty who teach on campus with the unmatched personalized interaction and support we're known for at Appalachian. Your App State MBA is within reach, wherever you are in life. Take the next step. Apply today for spring, summer, or fall admission at appstate.edu.
What's up, fans? This is Roddy Jones, co-host of College Sports Now. We're breaking down all the action from around the country weekly during the football season. We'll look beyond the box score and keep our finger on the pulse of college football from September all the way to the national championship game in January, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Listen all season long on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you love to get your podcast. And while you're at it, be sure to give us a follow along on Twitter at CSNowTweets.
Welcome back to the show. It is Mountaineer Talk coming to you from River Street Ale House. Our show presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. Our thanks to Shawn Clark. Our thanks to Coach Eric McDaniel. We enjoyed getting to know him a little bit as our first-year defensive line coach here in 2024. We're going to visit with our player guests in just a moment. This segment brought to you by Alumni Hall, the official online store of App State Athletics. Shop the latest and largest selection of App State apparel, hats, Yeti, and all your tailgating gear by visiting Alumni Hall on King Street, or shop anytime at appstatesports.com or alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, the ultimate Mountaineer shopping destination. All right, give it up to our player guest tonight. He plays on the defensive line. Shawn Collins joining us this evening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, God.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You know, bye week. Just talking about utilizing some rest this week so we can just keep executing, man.
Yeah, so some of you may know this if you listen to our pregame show, but Shawn Collins is taking a role in our pregame show this year. He's actually doing our player interview segment where he sits down with one of his teammates for a pregame segment leading up to each game broadcast. It's been a lot of fun, and now you get to be on the other side. You get to answer questions for a change. Okay, so I want to ask you first, though, can you give us a couple of interesting tidbits that you've learned about your teammates in doing these interviews? Anything good come to mind?
Absolutely. I mean, one thing I always ask them is like things they're looking forward to each week going into game weeks. And they all just talk about, go on ranting about how much they love our fan base and the fans and excitement. And it's just a common thing. And it's also amazing for me being a transfer student and having to wait like a whole off season to see what it was like coming to waking up on a game day, showing up to the stadium and seeing all the tailgating. So like every time I ask my teammates, and especially coming from me being a transfer and seeing new transfers come in, and I get to ask them, they feel the same way, and they're all so excited about the energy that you guys bring all the time. So it's amazing. That's definitely one thing I see in common with a lot of people when I interview them.
Yeah, so the question that you like to ask is, what's your favorite thing about App State Nation? And the first thing they always say is the fans.
Yeah.
The fans. Unanimous, the fans. I mean, I don't think it's great to hear from their voices just the impact that our fan base has on why people love playing here, why people love coming here, and how special it is to run out on that field and get that reaction from the fans.
Absolutely.
So this gives us good insight into what you guys like to talk about when you're just chilling, before practice, after practice, hanging out, eating together. What are some of the things that the guys really enjoy talking about outside of football?
Outside of football, definitely, video games. As athletes, like going home, playing the video games, the stuff to take any other thought from the world away and just focus on, just to take your mind away from any other problems you have going on, whether it's football, academics, family, financials, and a lot of old heads will laugh, but I mean, playing the game, we just started playing Black Ops Call of Duty, if any of you guys know about that. So we'll all get home, or when we come in the building and we're eating food, we'll be like, nah, why I heard JD, for instance, Josh O'Donnell, we'll talk so much crap at the table. We'll be like, JD, can you stop getting killed so many times? Just joking around all the time. And then Madden, oh my gosh, Madden or 2K, but Madden for real, being that it's a football game, you do not know unless that dies. Especially Brenda Harrington, oh my goodness, he comes in the building every day trying to talk trash about someone towards Madden, oh, what's up? When you gonna play me? When you gonna play me? Nah, I know you're not running away. When you gonna play me? I swear, it's hilarious. But for the most part, outside of football, I mean, it's talking about the video game, girlfriends and stuff like that. Things off the mountain, maybe going to Charlotte, maybe when you get a chance, just off the field, trying to plan on bonding, So, because the mountain, for one thing, does bring all of us real close. For me, I felt that way. For transfers like Montez Kelly, when he came up right before camp, and so that can be a hard transition coming from another school to coming right before camp. You could already in his head, he probably thought dang, I don't have a place here, but he quickly he fell into the culture and he felt loved and welcome, and so we all the mountain just brings us real close together. So it was always easy to chop it up with anyone too.
Grabs a hold of you and it just doesn't let go. Make some noise if you think this guy would be great at hosting his own show. Right? This is the reason why he's so good on our pregame show.
I appreciate y'all.
All right. We don't have a whole lot of time left, so I want to be very selective about the questions that I ask you. Where did your love of football come from? How did it start for you?
For me, it started from just feeling like I had big shoes to fill from my father. My father, growing up in Paterson, New Jersey, he was an All-American playing linebacker. He was an All-American at linebacker, and he was an All-American in track and field. He went to nationals running 100-meter hurdles. And so growing up in my town, and it wasn't a small town, and so that's the thing that made me so anxious growing up. It was Dad, everyone always tell me dang, you look just like your father. My dad always tell me, Shawn Jr., stand up, so they can see how tall I get. It's different stuff like that. Him just put me on that pedestal, which is just love for his son. But I always felt dang, I always look up to my dad damn, I gotta be like my dad. And so that's what started, in Pee Wee, Little League, dang, I gotta be like my dad. I'm trying to, because my father played football at Michigan, but, now coming to App, he don't get to brag about Michigan anymore. But
forever.
Yeah, he doesn't get to forever. So that's an amazing feeling. But definitely looking up to my dad in them early stages with Pee Wee football. But after starting out in high school, I just felt the love myself. And compared to basketball, I played basketball as well. And as we all know, it's easier to take out your emotions on the football field compared to basketball. Basketball, woo, foul, and I'm just like, oh my God, man. Next thing you know, I'm getting benched or something. But football, like it's just like we talked about, talking about with my teammates, and talking about things away from football. Like football itself helps us not worry about all our other problems out in the outside world. Like when we step on the field, we're able to just have fun, be where our feet are, go make a play, like something that'll help our mood for the day. Like going to practice, like it's really a mental thing, and it like depending on how much work you put in, like it does make us feel real happy,
This guy's great. Shawn Collins is our guest. We're going to quickly hit this commercial break so we can have a few minutes left with him when we come back. Stay tuned for more Mountaineer Talk right after this.
Mountaineer Talk postgame is presented by Town Tavern Blowing Rock and River Street Ale House, your high country football headquarters. Our great food and drink specials are available throughout the week. Visit us every Thursday for our famous wing night, Mondays for taco night, and Tuesdays for half-price pizzas. Then, as always, we will have all the games on our high-def TVs for a weekend full of football. Come see us at Town Tavern Blowing Rock and River Street Ale House, or visit our newest location, Town Tavern of Banner Elk.
For over 54 years, Greystone Eye's mission has been to preserve the gift of sight and improve lives one patient at a time. Their highly trained team of 15 board-certified ophthalmologists and optometrists includes 8 fellowship-trained subspecialists. They provide the Lincolnton, Hickory, Lenore, and Boone communities with the highest quality eye care possible. So no matter where or how you're viewing the game, Greystone Eye has you covered. Schedule your visit at 828-322-2050 or at greystoneeye.com.
It is great to be a Mountaineer.
The home of the Mountaineers. This is the Appalachian Sports Network from Learfield.
Vesco Toyota Lift, family owned and operated, has been the exclusive Toyota forklift distributor serving Western North Carolina for over 40 years. Vesco's service department has the experience to keep your equipment running safely and efficiently. Let Vesco's team of local and resident technicians go to work for your business. We open at 6 a.m. and offer 24/7 emergency service. Vesco rents forklifts, scissor lifts, boom lifts, scrubbers, trailer spotter, burden carrier, and 4-directional combi lifts. Vesco has you covered. Call us today at 1-800-951-3131 or visit us online at vescoforklifts.com. Give your business a big lift today.
Catawba Valley Engineering and Testing is an App State alumni-owned full-service geotechnical engineering, environmental, construction materials testing, and special inspections consulting firm based in Hickory. Maintaining pace with the latest technology and developments allows us to provide cost-effective services. The high number of returning clients reflect their confidence in our staff and our ability to provide quality results. Visit us at cvet.net to learn more. Catawba Valley Engineering and Testing is a proud partner of App State Athletics.
All right, welcome back to the show. It's Mountaineer Talk presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. We got a few minutes left with Shawn Collins, who is just a phenomenal guest. So we're going to get to as many questions as we can in our last 4 or 5 minutes here. All right, if you weren't playing defensive line, what position would you be playing?
I would definitely be playing tight end. I used to have some good hands back in the day. Sometimes when we do D-line drills, we'll do like ball drills. And Coach E, sometimes he'll try and trick us, whether it's like a fumble recovery look he'll try and give us, or he'll just dart it at us. And so every time I always catch it smooth, and I just brag about it like, yep, me back in my prime, me back in the day. But definitely something I try not to let die. I always joke about it sometimes. I mean, I was playing both ways in high school, and for a moment I really thought I would be a tight end like at this point in college, but it's a blessing. I mean, me switching over to playing DN and like excelling at that position. And I like thinking about it, looking back at it, like I love defense way more. Just being able to make a play compared to running a route or blocking, which I didn't like blocking. I wanted to touch the ball, but compared to the running around and looking back, and it's like, dang, I don't get it. But defense, I can bring it every play, make my own plays sometimes. So
in the ODU game, you had one of the biggest plays of the game on defense. You had the blindside sack, ball gets fumbled, gets recovered in a pivotal moment of the game. Is that the best individual feeling that you've had on the field since you came to App?
For sure. I mean, like, the moment was crazy. I didn't realize how crazy the moment was until getting on the sideline, but that moment was crazy. I had one play last season when we played UNLM. I had a long arm, and I just, like, it felt so good to me because I was working on my long arm all week.
What does that mean?
Practice.
What is long arm?
Long arm is like a pass rush move where I use my long arm and I'm trying to extend and turn my body, and that creates, with my long arms, with my body type, like, that gives me an advantage to use my long arm. And so I did my long arm and I put him on his back and then got the sack. So, and he was like 340. So I was like, yeah, it was definitely great. It's good to send home too. But that moment, ODU, getting the ball, I didn't know how to ball out either. I hit him and I got up and I looked and I see Thomas Davis on the ground fighting for it. I was like, because Coach Clark and all coaches, like, you're never supposed to celebrate. You got to make sure we got the ball first.
So you were celebrating before the ball got
I was ready to get up and run to the sideline celebrating. And I looked back. I was like, oh, shoot. Had to jump back on the ball and make sure we got that thing. So that was a great moment for sure, though.
Yeah. Well, man, I wish we had more time with you, but unfortunately we're out of it. It's been great to visit with you, even if it's just a few minutes. Shawn Collins, everybody. Man, he's great. Best of luck next Saturday, man. Enjoy that last home game of the year, man.
Yes,
it's going to be, as the kids say, it's going to be lit.
Right? Come on now.
All right, Shawn Collins joining us. Thanks to him. Thanks to Shawn Clark. Thanks to Eric McDaniel. And thanks to all of you for being here at Ale House Night. Another great show. Reminder, Monday, our show next week because of basketball on Tuesday night. Monday, 7 o'clock, and then next Saturday against JMU at 2:30. Until then, we will talk to you later and go out.